Hello everybody, welcome along to our webinar today. This is a wrap-up of, or a demo as a result of you having come to our stand at the World Congress of Accountants a couple of weeks ago in Sydney, and the idea is to give you a bit of a demo of SuiteFiles. So thank you for coming along, registering and coming along today. My name is Andrew Sims. I am the founder, or one of the founders, and CEO here at SuiteFiles. And we're going to sort of go through a few slides, and then what I want to do is give you a demo of the SuiteFiles system so that we can talk to you all about cloud-based file management for accounting firms. So just a little bit of housekeeping to get started. I am recording today's webinar, so anyone who has registered for the session today, so it's obviously those of you who are online, and also anyone, as I say, who has registered but hasn't been able to make it, look out in your inbox, watch for a copy of this webinar to come your way. If you've got questions, please type them into the Zoom control panel. I will answer these at the end of the session, but yeah, Zoom has a way to capture all the information that you need, and as I mentioned, we can answer those questions. Please type them in as they come up too, so that you don't forget them before the end of the webinar today. And to get the best webinar experience, obviously if you close down any unnecessary applications that you've got on your computer running at the moment, things that might provide notifications or take up extra bandwidth, obviously if you shut those down, then you'll get a much better experience watching the webinar. Right, just a quick overview of what we're going to look at today. So I want to give you a little bit of an introduction into SuiteFiles, just to tell you who we are and what we're up to, and why we think you know, you might be interested in what we're doing. We're going to talk to you about how SuiteFiles can work to help your business, and in particular, you know, drive some efficiencies. And then we'll have a conversation, a very short conversation about migrating to SuiteFiles. That is taking all of your files from whatever file system you're currently using and moving them up to the cloud. All right, so who are we? Who is SuiteFiles? Well, we're a little business. We're based in New Zealand, in Wellington. We've been in operation for just about 7 years, and the SuiteFiles application itself has been used by accounting firms for the past 6 years now. We're so, you know, as I say, we've been around for about 7 years, so we're a relatively new organisation, and everything we do is cloud-based. We're what you'd call born in the cloud. Yeah, everything we do internally and everything that we do in terms of what we build is all about getting your information into the cloud. We're a Microsoft Cloud partner, so everything is built on the Microsoft Cloud platform. We've won some awards with the work that we've done with Microsoft over the years, and obviously being on the Microsoft platform, it means that everything is familiar for our users. We got into the world of accountants and doing things with them through a relationship that we have with Xero. A number of years ago, Xero started this idea of a thing they called the modern practice. That modern practice was really about getting accounting firms to take everything off their server and put it into the cloud. That initiative from Xero started about 7 years ago, as they were starting to drive a lot of usage of the Xero system, and obviously they're getting the general ledger into the cloud. And they thought that, you know, the whole idea and the way that things would work best for accountants was to get all of their systems into the cloud. So we've been involved since then, and very tightly coupled with Xero, and have very strong relationships with that organisation. SuiteFiles was built for the small to medium business. What's important to understand about that is SuiteFiles is not a consumer product that was tried to be upscaled for businesses, and it's not an enterprise scale solution that's been cut down to work with small to medium businesses. Everything we've done has been designed with the small to medium business from the outset, and that means that a lot of the features and things that we're doing is all about what we believe small to medium businesses around the world need. And while we're modern practice advocates, SweetFiles is a great platform for accounting firms. And we're going to have a look today at our integration with Xero. And we are the only document management solution that provides a two-way integration that is pulling information out of and putting information into Xero systems. So what's the problem? Why do we even care about cloud-based file management? What are we trying to achieve when we think about it? Well, it's really about getting a system that's going to integrate with Xero for most of our clients, and then let you turn off the server once and for all. So a lot of organizations are moving to the cloud, moving all of their workloads, email, project management, timekeeping, and tracking, financial systems, all those sorts of things. They're all going to the cloud. But what people are also finding is that moving files to the cloud is a little bit harder than they originally hoped. SweetFiles is here to help solve that problem. And I think you'll see as we go through the demo today just what we can do to help with that. So over the years, we've spoken to quite a few accounting firms, and it keeps coming back quite clearly the standard things that accountants are looking for from a file management solution. First of all, it's been cloud-based. Obviously, people want to turn those servers off. They want to save the cost or the capital cost of purchasing new servers on a regular basis and the ongoing maintenance, going to the operational costs of being in a cloud-based solution, and software as a service makes a lot of sense for organizations these days. Email management. This is really around the issue of having information sitting in people's inboxes and not allowing it to be easily shared with other staff in your organization. With our email management solution, which we will certainly show you through our demo, you can very quickly get information out of your inbox and put it into the SweetFile system so that other members of your organization can quickly and easily see that info and work with it. We have a very strong integration with Xero's Practice Manager, and we're also one of Xero HQ's launch partners last year. It's fair to say would be the recommended document management solution for accountants that are building their practices on the Xero platform. When it comes to migrations, when you're moving any systems and any workloads from one solution to another, there's obviously a transition that is required. These transitions can have downtime, and downtime obviously costs money. With SweetFiles, our goal is a zero downtime migration. We achieve this 99% of the time. What that really means is you trust us with migrating all of your files to the cloud. We start that process on a Friday evening, and by Monday morning when you come into the office, it's all done again, done for you and ready to go. And then obviously you want some peace of mind and an understanding that compliance issues have been taken care of. And this is where our backup solution comes in place. We are backing up your files every day so that you have a full history of what's going on with those files. And we're keeping a snapshot of what the folder structure and the files inside that structure look like each day. So if at any given point in time someone comes to you and says, please tell me what the files were on record for client X on this date, you can go back and you can find that, and you can see the exact information that you've got in the file system, and obviously then rationalize why the decisions were made because of the information that you have at that time. All right, enough intro stuff. Let's switch over now to our SweetFiles systems and have a look at our demo sites and just show you around and show you how the systems work. What I have on my screen right now is SweetFiles. This is our web app. and it's a really simple solution. It is built around the very similar concepts that everybody knows and understands around folders and files. So I'm in the home screen at the moment. There is a file in the middle of the screen here, and you can see down the left-hand side, I've got a bunch of subfolders. I can click into those folders, and you can see more folders underneath that down the left-hand side here. And you can drill further and further into these folders to see more subfolders and the files that are associated with those folders. So pretty straightforward conceptually from what everyone is used to, especially when working with the File Explorer. Of course, navigating your way around the system is one way to find your information. We can do a few other things. We can have favorite documents in favorite folders. So you can see these top two files over on the right hand side here. They've got some yellow stars. That means that these files are personal favorites. And if I click on the favorites section, you can see I've actually got 15 files that are personal favorites. These are files that I refer to regularly and can go back to at any time by simply coming into the favorites area. They're like bookmarks for a web browser. So yeah, pretty easy to do. You can do the same with folders. Maybe you've got a folder with a bunch of content in it that you wish to keep going back to. This jobs folder here, for example, if I click on that, you can see there are 3 subfolders, and hopefully there's some files underneath those. Here you go here. So if there is a folder with a bunch of content that you need to keep referring to, no point in individually making each item a favorite. Let's make the whole folder a favorite and go there very, very quickly. That's one way to get around. Another way to get around the system is use what we call folder filtering. So folder filtering is when you've got a really large list of subfolders. So in the clients folder here, I've got 359 subfolders. And I can keep scrolling through that list, and eventually I will get to the bottom. I'm still not really even close yet. Some of our clients have got thousands and thousands, some of them tens of thousands of subfolders under the clients folder. That's one way to do things, is to scroll. Another way to do things is to simply use this folder filtering feature. And what this does is it shows us all of the subfolders that start with whatever text we type into this text box. So if I, a really simple example, wanted to look at all my subfolders that start with letter Z, type Z, hit enter. What you can see now, of course, are all the subfolders that start with letter Z in under the clients folder here. I can type more content into this text box if I want to, ABC, and there you go. There are a bunch of subfolders under clients that start with ABC. So quick and easy way to drill in and filter your list of folders based on what the folder names start with. Then, of course, you can get around by using search. We've got a couple of different types of search, or way search works. I type something into the text box here. Top middle of the screen, we get our quick search results. So these are results that come back very quickly and very it's a very straightforward set of results based on folders and files I've recently been working in, things that have been favorited, things that have been shared with me, and of course the first things that the system finds. We get 3 different types of result. We get client folders, which you can see at the top of the list here. We get files, and we get other subfolders. The thing with quick search is we're limited to 7 results of each of these 3 types of information, being client folders, standard folders, and files. If the 7 results that come back for you are not what you're after, which is quite possible in a system where you've got probably hundreds of thousands of files, we can do or enable what we call our advanced search. And that's just simply done by typing a word into the text box and then hitting enter on the keyboard. So what happens now is we're searching over our entire database of files within Suite Files, and we're going to return every document in the system that meets the search criteria that we typed in. So we've obviously gone from 7 documents to 353 now. Of course, finding a file within 353 files might not be as quick and easy as you would hope. So what we can do is use these filters that we've got over on the left-hand side here. And we can filter by things like file types. So maybe we're after an Excel file. And there you go, there are the 9 Excel files that meet the criteria of the word test. We could be looking for files in a certain financial year, a 2016 financial year. And we can click on that and it will filter down and show us that result. There it is there. Could also be that we're after files just in a certain client folder. We can drill into that and see that file as well. Okay, so that is search in our quick search result. Oh, sorry, our full advanced search results. What I want to do now is just flip over and have a look at our Xero Practice Manager integration. So, and show you the way that all works. Just double check that I'm all logged into my, with that integration. Yes, it is, so that's good. Okay, so the way this works is that when I create a new client in Suite Files, and let's just call this client World Congress of Accountants client, and I hit save, the system will now look inside of Suite Files and ask or try to work out whether a client folder of that name actually exists. And if it doesn't, the screen comes, pop-up screen comes available, and you can choose whether you wish to create a new client folder in Suite Files or not. And also the other thing you can do is you can choose to whether you wish to create what we call a folder template. So a folder template is a standardized set or structure of subfolders that you want to put into the new folder that you're creating. So let's choose our company folders and click create. And you can see a little pop-up that's come up on the screen telling me that's done. You can also see that now that this has happened, a link has been inserted into the Xero Practice Manager, and we can click on that link and it's going to take us straight to the Suite Files system, and we're going to be able to see that client folder and all the subfolders that have been set up underneath that. Of course, we can drill down and see whatever other subfolders have all been set up as a part of that folder template. In the Practice Manager, if we decide to change the client name, or if we decide to archive the client, that's all great. We can also be prompted to change the client name in Suite Files to match the client name in Practice Manager, and we'll also be prompted to archive that client in Suite Files if need be. Yeah, another part of the integration that's really useful is when you've got your client set up with a number of, well, it's not with a number, set up with a whole bunch of information about it that we can then start to use in our document templates and email templates in Suite Files. So let's just set up a few things in here. Bear with me while I fill this in. Some information down here. That'll do for there, and some things about services required. So we filled in some information about on the Practice Manager there. I also would like to fill in some contact details for this client. So we've got a client name and an address, but we need to know a person. Okay, that's enough. That's all we need for the purposes of our demo. So what we're going to do now is we're going to flip back to Suite Files, and we're going to go into what we call our template gallery. We're going to have a look for our look at a template that's already been set up, our XPM demo letter. And what you're going to see in this template is, when it opens up, a Word document with a bunch of custom fields that are put into this document, and we can use those custom fields and populate information out of the Practice Manager into the email, or sorry, into the document, and make a really nice, quick, easy job of putting a standard piece of content together. I can see that someone's been playing with my demo system and edited the file and put this in here. So let's just remove that. Okay, so let's get that template back together for us. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go to our new client folder. Use our folder filter to find it. There we go. And we're now going to create a new document based on that template that I was just looking at. So we click create and then file from template, and we can just quickly filter our templates here, and we're going to choose a client. Now, what would normally happen is this client name would actually pre-populate for us, because the system will work out that we've got a client folder in Suite Files with a corresponding client record in the Xero Practice Manager. That will happen when the Xero Practice Manager caches a client list into Suite Files, which hasn't happened just yet. So if I start typing the client's name, you can't see anything in my client list. But if I click refresh, that's going to refresh that client list for me in Suite Files. And you can now see there's our Wakoa client. We'll choose that. And we're going to click create. So now what happens is that the file is going to be created inside Suite Files. It's going to be based on the content of that original template, and it's going to be pre-populated with information from the Practice Manager about our client. So there you go, you've got the business name, the address details, the salutation of the contact person, and then you can see we've got other bits of information. We filled in a number of things in these bullet points here. We've got the yes/no values sitting in these services that are required. GST information has all been updated, and the document is now there, ready to go. Quick, easy, simple. You've got some standard content, and you need to take information out of the Practice Manager about your clients to populate or complete the content for your client, and just like that, it's done. You don't have to worry about mistakes being made. If the content in the Xero Practice Manager is correct and is the source of truth, which it should be, then that information is going to make it into the templates and Suite Files, and you know that your staff are not going to make mistakes. Okay, let's now have a look really quickly at our email integration. So I'm just firing up Outlook here in my demo profile, and we'll show you how we can very quickly and easily save content from our email solution, or our Outlook, into Suite Files, and have that all there ready to go. So as I've opened up Suite Files here, what you can see on the right-hand side is our Suite Files Outlook add-in. And this is connected to the same Suite Files site that we've just been looking at through the browser. And I can navigate my way around into the clients folder, and it's going to be all the way down the bottom, I imagine. Wakoa client, there it is there. You can see my subfolders that I've set up using that folder template, and the document that I just created through the Suite File system. Now, the whole purpose of this Outlook add-in is to very quickly and easily enable you to get your content out of your mailbox and into your file system. It's quite possible and probable that much of the content of your mailbox really is corporate content and needs to be kept by the organization and kept in a place that other people can very easily access it. So that content that comes in is either going to be an attachment in an email, so you can see this email that I've got open in the preview pane, there's an attachment in there, so let's just drag and drop that over to my folder here, and you can see that's now uploaded into the Suite file system. If you want to save the entire email, so that is the attachment and the text, body text to the email, because that might be useful and important to you, you just drag and drop that email from your inbox over to Suite Files, and that's going to upload and get itself into the Suite file system. Just to show that there's sort of no smoke and mirrors, you can see there's the attachment and the email itself having been uploaded into the Suite Files system. So getting information into Suite Files is dead easy, as is getting information out of Suite Files. So if you want to create a new email and you need to attach a file, find our Wakoa client and just click on an attachment, sorry, click on a file, and that just attaches to the email. Really simple and easy, just as you'd expect when attaching a file. We can also do some things with email templates. So let's just remove this and show you an email template that I've set up. These email templates sit inside of Suite Files and are available to all staff members. Creating an email template is really quite simple. It's just a case of typing up some standard content that you wish to use as a template, and click this option to save as email template. I'm going to use this option here to insert from a template. I'm going to show you this template here that I've already set up. We're not going to populate anything in it. So what you can see here is obviously a new email. It's got a subject line. The subject line does have one of my custom fields in it that I had in my document templates. I've got some content in the body of the email. Again, I've got these custom fields in this email here. And then I've also got an attachment, and the attachment has a custom field in its name. And if I open the attachment, what you can see is a document, and again, the document has custom fields in it. So what you can probably expect is going to happen now is that when I create a new email from that template, this time I'm going to choose a client. So this is obviously my client list in the Practice Manager, and I'm going to choose my Wakoa client, and I'm going to hit pre-populate. And of course, all of those fields and things that I was showing you in the subject line of the email, in the body of the email, so there's all sorts of things filled in here, and the name of the attachment's been updated, and the attachment itself has also been updated with information about our client. So yeah, very quickly, very easily, we can have emails that set up as templates, and we can start to pre-populate those with information from the Practice Manager. Last thing I'd like to show you about our email add-in is that it's not just information that you are receiving that you can save into your file system. We can also save emails that we are sending. So when you hit send, you get this pop-up that comes up and asks you where you would like to save a copy of this email. So let's just save it to our Wakoa client folder, and we hit send and file it. So the email is sent, and then a copy of that email is going to be saved into this folder that's open on the screen here, and you can see there it is. It's the top email or top file in the list of emails there. So that is obviously really simple in terms of how you can work in the browser, how we can integrate with the Xero Practice Manager, and also how we can save emails from our inbox directly into Suite Files. And I think you'd agree that there's a lot of time and efficiency gains, and every time you can save 2 minutes on a task that you might do 10 times a day, where you're talking about saving 20 minutes a day, 100 minutes a week, what's that, 5,200 minutes a year. So that's quite a bit of time that you'll be saving, and efficiencies that you'll be gaining by using something like Suite Files. That's pretty much the content of my demo. Let's just go back to the slide deck now, and I've got a few more slides to finish off with before we get an opportunity to answer some questions by people out there. Okay, migrating to Suite Files. So people often ask me about this and what options that we've got. So what are our options for migration? Well, there's kind of two extremes as to what people do. Some people actually don't migrate anything to Suite Files. They will set up, have Suite Files set up for them and sign up and start working away, and they will simply create new folders and files as and when required. So if they're working with clients, they would create a new client folder the next time they start working on a client and start populating that folder with information, with the new files that they're creating, or maybe even some old files that they've got on previous systems that they need to upload because they're relevant going forward for that client. That's one extreme. The other extreme is people come to us and say, can you please migrate all of my files from another system into Suite Files? That could be a file server, that could be another document management system. And we have processes and tools in place where we can very quickly and easily take all of that file information and migrate it to Suite Files. What can be migrated? Well, anything that's on a file server at the end of the day. We can pick up a folder and file structure in its current state and move that up into Suite Files. So yeah, so the real benefit of doing that is that if you've got a folder structure that everyone is using on your file server, or a structure that you know that everyone will understand, if you pull things out of another document management system, it's very easy for users to navigate their way around Suite Files because it is a structure that they do understand. What can we migrate from? Well, just about anything. We can migrate from file servers. We can migrate from other cloud solutions like Dropbox. We've done that before many times. We can migrate from other file management systems, whether they be other Office 365 SharePoint systems, whether that be things like iManage or other accounting software solutions for document management like MYOB or Virtual Cabinet. We have ways and means to take all of that content, extract it from whatever system it might currently be in, or massage it if it's already on a file server but needs some restructuring, and then we can pick it up and migrate to Suite Files. And of course, what's the process, and how long does it take? Well, I guess the question about how long it takes really depends on what you've actually currently got. That is where your files currently are, whether they're in another file system and need extracting first, and also the upload speed of your internet connection. But essentially, the process involves us, first of all, citing and inspecting your source documents, making sure that we understand where they are, and having a conversation with you about what we will do with those files, especially if they're in another file system, how we will extract them, what that folder structure will look like, and then we generate a plan for you about moving those files up into Suite Files. We put an agreement together because there is a cost to doing this, and then we pick a weekend where we can start the process on a Friday night, and then have everything done for you by Monday morning. We also run training sessions so that new staff, new users that you're bringing on board know exactly how to use Suite Files. And the general way people do things is that we will migrate over a weekend. The staff will come in on a Monday morning, and then on Monday afternoon we start training. And we run 4 training sessions each week for different types of users with different types of needs within the Suite Files system. What next? Hopefully you like what you've seen and are interested in finding out some more about Suite Files. And by far and away, the best thing to do is use one of our free 30-day trials. The trial of Suite Files is fully functional. In fact, the trial generally kicks into becoming your Suite Files deployment, and as I say, it is fully functional and all of your staff can use it. We really, really recommend a trial. We want you to know what you are using and how it all works, and then we can answer any questions and make sure that you are making the best decision for file management inside your organization. We don't want you to migrate to Suite Files and then a month later say it doesn't work like you hoped. We want those sorts of questions to be ironed out well before any migrations are thought of. We have 3 different plans. Our full suite plan, the $18 per user per month plan, is by far and away our most popular, and it gives you everything that we've had a look at today. Do you want a trial? It's all you need to do is go to our website, www.suitefiles.com, and click the Trial Now button. You will have to fill in a form, and once that form is completed, we will send you instructions so that we can get access to your Office 365 account and deploy Suite Files for you. And that is the content of our webinar today. Do people have questions? I can see a couple of questions have, come into the system. The first question is, is Suite Files compatible on a Mac? And the answer to that is yes, absolutely. Obviously being cloud-based and working through a browser, in particular the Chrome browser is what we recommend. Suite Files is fully functional from that regard on a Mac. And our Outlook add-in, in fact we have a brand new Outlook add-in which is going to be released publicly outside of beta on, I believe it's the 12th of December, and that is going to be a specific Outlook add-in for Mac users. Another question here about securely sharing files. So yes, you can securely share files with your customers. We don't have what a lot of people would ask for around a client portal, but we can actually send files to your to external parties really, and do that securely. Essentially, if you need to be using the Xero Practice Manager and have your contacts all set up in there. If you go to share a file in Suite Files and share them with a person or a contact in the Xero Practice Manager who's set up with a mobile phone number, we can pick all that up, and what happens is that the person is sent an email from our system with a link in that email to download the file or files that have been shared with them, and when they click that link, they're sent a text code to their mobile phone to validate exactly who they are and make sure that they are the right person for downloading those files. Here's another question about capacity. How much capacity do I get with Suite Files? Well, Suite Files is built solely on Microsoft's Office 365 platform. To use the Suite Files system, you do need to have an Office 365 business account. In having one of those accounts, you will be given 1 terabyte of file storage in the Office 365 system for your business. So, so out of the box, you get 1 terabyte of storage with Suite Files. And if you require more, that can be increased. It can be increased up to 24 terabytes. There is a cost to doing that. You do have to buy that extra capacity from Microsoft. Yes, there's another question here that sort of possibly even comes before how much capacity do I get. It's really, the question is, do I have to have Office 365 to use Suite Files? And yes, you do. You need one of the business Office 365 plans. You need, it could be Business Essentials, Business Premium, or what they call E1 or E3 or E5 plans. Suite Files won't work with any home or personal Office 365 accounts. It does have to be one of the business ones. Okay, folks, that's all the questions that have come through. So thank you for that. I think it's probably time to wrap up the webinar and that you will get back on with your day. I do want to say a big thank you for coming along to the webinar today and taking the time to have a look at SweetFiles. I hope that you've seen something of interest and potentially maybe something you'd like to trial. Just a reminder, if you do want to trial SweetFiles, all you need to do is go to our website, www.sweetfiles.com, and click the Trial Now button, fill in the form, and then follow the instructions. And we can have SweetFiles up and running for you pretty quickly, and you can test it out and make sure that it's going to be an awesome file management system for your accounting practice. Thank you once again for your time. I really do appreciate it, and I hope you have a great rest of your Friday and a wonderful weekend. Thanks very much, everybody.